Okay, so those watching this video, you can find these, my CS101 video playlist. I've updated it here. All right, the project today is to work with Excel, starting Excel Project 3. But before we do Project 3, we're going to do a little practice. So let's start Excel, EXL, start a new blank workbook. And let's call this first worksheet, I can just double click on the worksheet name and I'm going to call it Practice. Calling it Practice. Hit enter, and now my worksheet is called Practice. I'm going to zoom in on this worksheet and let's just enter some numbers. Let's do something interesting. How about, let's enter a -1 in B2. And the formula I'm going to put in C2 is going to be the opposite of what's in the cell to the left. So I'm going to do equals B2, click on it, times, actually I think I could just put a -1, a negative sign in front of that. I could multiply by -1, but I think I can just put negative B2 for my value there. And let's see if it comes out right. Yep, it comes out to be a positive 1. Let's copy that fill handle down.
What?
Uh-oh, it's not working.
That's because it's all zeros on the other side.
Oh, that's right, so it's my cell to the left. That's right, we want to copy that to the right, not down. There we go. Now, I'm going to do a equal, let's make this one an equal negative the one above it. And there we go, and now I can fill handle that one down. So just get some alternating cells, just to make it a little more interesting. And I can do that same thing. I'm going to zoom out a little bit now. And I can copy all of those and fill handle those to the right. And so I have alternating -1s and 1s. And just to make it more interesting, let's copy down a few more rows. So I have alternating 1s, -1s. And the simple formula is, what's in this cell is the negative of what's to the left of it. What's in this cell is the negative of what's above it. And as I fill handle down, that address changes. Relative addressing is you only worry about relative addressing when I'm copying a formula. Otherwise, it's, oh, this cell is that thing plus that thing somewhere else. But once I think about copying a formula, the cell that I'm referencing moves unless I do something very special. Okay, so I've got alternating, and here's the control tilde, shows me my formulas. It's always just the opposite of what's above it or to the left of it. Now we're going to practice that conditional formatting. Remember how we do conditional formatting. We select the cells we're going to apply conditional formatting to. Then we go to the conditional formatting box, and we're always going to do new rule. We can play with these rules later on. We want you to know how to create your own rule, because fundamentals of computing rules. We're going to choose format cells that contain, and let's have anything that's negative. Let's say anything that's negative, that would be less than 0. Let's format it with a red background. Not annoying red background. How about a pastel red? Red, stark red, gets a little bit hard on the eye. So let's do a pastel pinkish. Unless you like to wake yourself up with some annoying red colors, you can choose whatever color you like. Generally, accountants, negative numbers go red. And you know what? Here's a good thing to learn about. Underneath more colors, I can choose exactly what color I want by dragging around in this little color table. If it's not in the table, I can choose something over there. So I could choose a red and then decide how dark a red it is. So it's nice to know how you can manipulate custom colors to your heart's content.
Talking about prep.
So more colors, and now I click OK, and so now we'll see that anything that's negative should get a background color of red. So when I click OK finally, the conditional formatting should apply, and I see a lovely checkerboard pattern. Isn't that so much fun?
Mine doesn't have that.
Do you have the alternating negative one and ones?
Only for columns. Oh, he has columns. Yeah.
So
It was like that.
So first of all, I did the alternating color to the right. I'm negative of what's to my left. Then I did the formula here is negative of the cell above it. I copied this formula. I don't copy that one. That's the one I start with.
What is this one?
That stays negative 1. This means opposite of what's to my left, and so I get alternating colors. Just so you know, notice here, if I click on this and copy it to the right, will it remember the conditional formatting? Let's find out. It does. Yes, indeed it does. When you copy cells, it copies the formula or the value that's in it, and it remembers the formatting of it. Because copying, you can choose to copy the formula, or by default it copies the formula and the formatting. There is a way to say, oh, I don't want the formatting copied, just give me the values. Okay, let's do that again. First of all, if you're not getting the colors right, check that your numbers are alternating, because you may have the conditional formatting just fine, but your formulas are coming out wrong. If you do have alternating 1 and negative 1, and your colors are not coming out right, you can go back to conditional formatting, manage rules, and check to see. By clicking on this, I can see cell value less than 0. Here's the format I should see. And I'm going to come help you a little bit over here. Sounds like you might need a little help. You got yours alternating? So put a negative 1 in one cell. Put a negative 1 in that one. And then that one is equal, type the equal sign. Negative, minus. And then click or type B2. And then hit enter. And now, click on that, and if you fill handle to the right, you'll see alternating 1 negative. Okay. And now the one underneath, B3, make that equal to the opposite, or negative, not negative 1, negative, and then either click or type on B2. You can type B2 or click on, and it'll put a B2. Now be sure to hit enter before you do anything. Now you can fill handle that. Right?
Yeah.
And now you can fill handle down some more. Oh, you don't have to retype any more formulas. Just select that row, select the whole row. No. Second row, select through that. Select through it. Select, and now fill handle down. Keep going as far as you want. And now, select all the cells that have numbers in them. Select. There we go. And now we're applying conditional formatting.
Okay.
We got it working. Excellent. Okay. You're getting it. Okay, and now you can fill handle to the right. Now you have your alternating numbers, and now it's just a matter of selecting all the number cells and applying conditional formatting.
Mine only lets me, okay, when I try to do the fill handle, mine only lets me go like 5 row or column. It doesn't let me go multiple.
Right. That's how it works. So now select through all the cells, and now apply the conditional formatting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I applied the conditional formatting, have them turn red when they are negative. Now, but we want them to also turn green when they're positive. So we add another rule to it. I can do new rule and add the one where cells that contain, this time if they're positive, that means greater than or equal to 0. 0 is considered positive, so greater than or equal to 0. And anything positive, let's set the formatting to be a green background of your choice of intensity. And I click OK. And OK one more time. I see those two rules there now. Green when it's greater than or equal to 0 for backgrounds. red when it's less than 0. And now when I click OK or Apply, I will see the effect of that conditional formatting. So we did a little practice here. First we practiced our simple, fairly simple formula. This one is opposite of what's to its left. Fill handle that to the right. I made this one the opposite of what's above it. And I fill handle that to the right. And then I fill handle down. You can't fill handle both down. Well, actually you can, but with this particular one, we want to fill handle the row and then fill handle down multiple rows.
I noticed something interesting. If you select the entire box and then fill handle it to the right, it'll give you 0.
Really? Interesting. Like this and then fill handle?
Yep.
Let's see what happens. Wow, that's something's wrong. Let's see if I just do the one and fill handle to the right. It does what I would expect. Interesting. Now if you want, remember how we can adjust our columns. This is a great thing to know. Most people don't know this. If you select everything and adjust the column of any, adjust the width of any column, everything gets that column width. When everything's selected, any change to any column affects all the columns. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's very annoying. But I can change my column of everything, and it sets everything to the exact same column. Usually, we want to auto-fit. Let's see what happens if I auto-fit. I double-click on any border. It auto-fits all my columns to match what's contained within them. Selecting and dragging sets them all to the same width. Double-clicking has them all auto-fit themselves. It's really good to know that. You can save yourself and look very smart. Your boss will say, can you please fit all these columns in my worksheet? You could tell them, you know, it might take a while. I'll let you know in a couple hours. You double-click, or you go have coffee. No, you wouldn't do that. You would say, look how fast this is. Let me show you, boss. And you double-click on any column, and they'll say, whoa, I need to keep you, I need to give you a raise because you have saved me hours and hours of work. Okay, so that was just a little practice reviewing that conditional formatting. I'm just going to do that really quick. Remember how we did it? We selected it, go to conditional formatting, new rule. You can choose to add a new rule, and then it's all about the criteria. How about if anything is equal to 1, let's format it with a blue background, just for fun. Which is going to take over? Is it going to be the one that turns blue or the one that turns red? Well, let's see here. If I go at Manage Rules, I see that I have 3 rules there. This one takes over the other ones. I don't get this one. You'd think that it'd go blue and go red, but I can move my rules around. I think. Oh, can you move your rules around? I don't think you can. So sometimes if you have multiple rules, it may be confusing. If I messed up on a rule, I can select it and delete it. And then I'm back to my original. Okay, enough of practice with conditional formatting. We can come back to that because repeating, coming back after you haven't seen it for a while, helps your brain to remember it even better. So let's start a new worksheet. And this is going to become our Excel Project 3. We're going to be doing a lot more fancy schmancy stuff. We're going to produce something that's going to look like this. Here's our goal. We're going to produce this. Another budget type of thing. Some rotated text. Yeah, some total rows. So some very similar calculations as before, and we're calculating revenue and expenses, so not super different from what we've already done. We are rotating text. We've got some special little charts over here that are kind of interesting. I don't think they're terribly worthwhile, but they're kind of more eye candy, impress people with your Excel skills, but I don't find them terribly useful. But we are going to do a different kind of graph, a clustered bar, custom column chart. We don't believe in bars here at Emmaus. We would column charts. No bars allowed. That's in the student handbook, I believe. Okay, so let's get going on that project. Okay, we have a title. It's going to be Manola Department Stores Incorporated. In cell A1. Remember what we're going to do later? We'll be merging and centering this. Manola Department Stores Inc. Oh, there is a comma. Inc.
I wonder what departed from the department store.
It's going to be our 6-month financial projection. And right away, we're going to apply a theme to the workbook. With workbooks, themes don't have that great an effect, but let's see what happens. We have right now Calibri fonts, and let's go to, remember how do you get to the theme? It's hiding underneath page layout. Themes, we're going to apply the slice theme. So let's see, there is a slice theme. It looks like it just changed the font a little bit. Changes the font from Calibri to Century Gothic, and it probably changed my color table. I won't know until I look for background colors. So remember where the themes are. Page layout.
What was the theme?
Theme is slice. Doing the slice theme. Slice is nice. Alright, now we're going to insert the months of the year, starting at column B. These are going to be headings across the columns. We're going to start with January. January. And all you need to know how to spell is January. You don't need to know how to spell any of the other months because we're going to let Excel do it for us. But before we do any fill handling to the right, we're going to rotate this text. How many degrees? 75 degrees. We're going to rotate this text 75 degrees. The reason they gave you 75, they don't want to make it easy. There is an auto rotate here of 45 degrees. But we're not going to go 45. We want to be able to do any degrees. And guess where we find the any degree part? I can go here and go down to Format Cell Alignment. And that takes me to this dialog. Or I could also click on this little guy, Format Cells, takes me to that dialog.
Yeah.
And look at that, I can do the rotation right there. I can manually rotate the little text guy, or I can manually type in the exact number of degrees, and we're going to make that exactly 75 degrees. Kind of tilting way up at 75 degrees. Often you'll see people also putting a border, because sometimes that makes it nicer looking. We're not going to put a border, but we are rotating it counterclockwise 75 degrees. Now when I fill handle, not only is it going to increment the month, it's going to remember the formatting. Because remember, when you copy, it copies formatting, and sometimes it will do a autofill. And I think we're going out to June, right? We're only doing a 6-month financial projection. 75 degrees by clicking there. Now, if I ever got it wrong, I could go back to all of them and click my formatting and say, wait a minute, let me adjust my formatting. Since I have them all selected, it would adjust. But I can make sure that that is 75 degrees.
You said it's only June?
Yes.
Only out to June. It's only a 6-month financial projection. So now you know how to rotate the text. And remember, just for a reminder, remember, I'm going to go back to my practice sheet just for fun. Remember the things that fill handle, like if I had A1 here, or Sunday, or, yeah, say I have A1 and Sunday, I can grab those and fill handle those to the right, and it auto-fills. Let me do a auto adjust. It will auto-fill, incrementing A1. It'll increment Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and there's other things that will auto-increment as well. now my formatting got messed up. I'm not going to worry about it.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, we made that on a new sheet.
Yeah, that was. I just went back to my practice sheet just to show you the autofill. Remember that whole cool autofill stuff. We're back to the main sheet, January, February, out to June. Now we're going to, let's see, oh, they give us some examples here. Let's just go through some of their examples that they give in the book. I could do that in the book. I can do 4:00, and if I autofill that to the right, it becomes 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. They show quarter space 1, and if I autofill that to the right, it does increment that number there as well. Oh, yeah, auto increments. Why did? Oh, look at that! I didn't realize this. Quarter 1, it recognizes. Let me auto adjust. Oops, select them all. Auto adjust. Notice quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. It restarts at quarter 1 because that's what accounting sheets do. You only have 4 quarters, then you restart at 1. I hadn't noticed that before. Sunday, Tuesday. Oh, look at this. I can do this as well. 4th. And I autofill to the right. Let's see what happens. Look at that. What if I move that by grabbing the very edge of it, move it to the right a few? And what happens if I autofill to the left? Let's see. Is it going to be 3rd and 1st? Let's see if it's that smart. Look at that. It knows. It doesn't just put a TH at the end of everything. It knows 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. That autofill is pretty handy dandy. Okay, back to our worksheet. We are now entering some lines having to do with revenue. Starting in row 4, column 1, or column A. This is going to be the row title revenue. And there's going to be multiple, well, there's going to be only one thing under revenue that we're going to be subtracting from revenue. So it's not quite income, although we are going to be calculating our gross margin, what they call it. We're going to put in here cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. Because this is part of the business calculation, we want to indent that row just a little bit by clicking on that column, on that cell, and increase indent. And it looks like there is no shortcut key for increasing indent. Then we go to row 6, and we're going to put in here the thing called gross margin. Gross margin. That'll be a calculation. I'm going to double click column A just to fit that nicely. I guess I don't
Does
put that.
that stay?
Yeah, that stays out. The only thing indented will be cost of goods sold. Now, in this particular example, instead of making this row wider or taller, we're going to have that row act as a spacer. We're going to jump down to row 8 and begin our list of expenses for our business. So this is going to be the heading, expenses. And now I'm going to indent this row before I start typing, and I'm going to type bonus, salary. Oh, I thought it would remember the formatting of the one above it. I guess it doesn't. Site rental. Marketing. And the dangerous category, miscellaneous. And we're going to end with totaling that, total expenses. Salary up to miscellaneous, we want to indent those just like the bonus. So I select through them and increase indent on those. So it indicates they are sub-items of expenses category.
Oh. You have a space in the bonus.
You don't space them in, you indent them. We want you to be experts at indenting, not just putting spaces in front of the words. Click, indent.
So mine were already indented, so I used the format painter.
Nice, yeah, that's right. Say I got bonus and I like how it's appearing, I can use that old little paintbrush that's painting his format across everything else. Comes in handy sometimes. We're also going to leave another blank row after row 14. 15 is just a spacer. And we're going to have operating income. That is the same as final balance that we have to work with. Okay? So we have a planned financial projection. But remember, we are planning for a what-if analysis. We have certain parameters that we want to adjust. It's going to be called our assumptions in our what-if analysis. So we're jumping down now to row 18, and the title of this section is going to be What If Assumptions. These are numbers that we're going to adjust and see how it affects our business. Now the numbers that we're going to put here in our assumptions table, the labels we're going to put here are the same labels as our expenses out here. So rather than retyping them, which would be horribly tedious on your fingers, we're going to select, Control-C copy, and Control-V paste right underneath what if assumptions. Okay, now we're going to enter some of our assumptions here. There is one other assumption we're going to add. It's going to be underneath the bonus row. And in order to put in a row underneath bonus, I click on salary, right click, and do insert. Insert always inserts above the row I'm at. In Google Sheets, when you right click to insert, you can do insert row above or below. In Excel, there's only one insert, and it's always either above or to the left of the column I have selected. So the added part of the what if assumptions is going to be sales revenue for bonus, meaning I don't get the bonus unless my sales have reached this level, and then I get the bonus.
There's a really awesome little thing that pops up in Mac. When you hit insert, it gives you a tiny little dialog.
Oh yeah,
box.
with little diagrams.
It says shift cells right, shift cells down, entire row. Or
Very good. Okay, so we have sales revenue for bonus added at row 20. We did that by inserting a row above salary, typing that in. This is our assumptions table. Now it's time to enter our assumptions. These are things that we're going to be using for calculating these numbers up above. So what are our assumptions? We're going to start with our initial bonus. Or sorry, what happened to margin? There's supposed to be margin there. I missed the margin part. Let's insert another row above bonus. And I can either copy paste. Oh, I guess I have to type margin. That's not anywhere out there. I'm going to do margin. And I do indent that just like the others. Now, so I inserted a row, typed margin, indented it. Now our assumptions. We are forecasting an 81.25% margin. Now remember, when I put percent there, that's the same as mathematically 0.8125. So mathematically, it's 0.8125, but percent is the margin that I am forecasting. On my bonus, this is a parameter I am expecting. I'm choosing to give my employees, or my company will receive, my franchise will receive a bonus of $5,000 if my sales revenue has reached 1,250,000, 1.25 million. You can put commas in there, or you can come back later and put it in comma format. It does let you type commas, but I'm lazy. I'd rather let Excel put in commas, say displayed in comma format. The salary percent is forecast to be 20%. So I type 20%. The site rental, I'm forecasting to be 10% of my margin, of my gross, my operating income. My marketing, I'm projecting to be 3.5%. Not spending much money on marketing. I don't know if 3.5% seems a little small for marketing percent. And for miscellaneous supplies and equipment or whatever, kickbacks to my nephew, 5%. No, we won't have a dishonest business. Let's all put those in 2 decimal display just to make it nice and neat, increasing our decimal right there to 2 decimal. These are what we call my what if assumptions, and just to make it clear, these are important assumptions. Let's shade this section of our table. Let's shade it with a little bit of, let's see, pick your color that you like. We'll shade that, because these are important numbers that we'll be referencing from other formulas. Okay, I'll zoom in on this. I'm going to close my tab so you can see this as good as resolution as possible. Put these numbers in your assumptions table. And you know what? I think we should bold these headings. So let's do Control V. We can come back later and see how if they want a different format. This is our assumptions table. All right, so type those in. Make sure your table looks like that. And then we're going to come up above and start typing in formulas. You ready to go? Everyone ready? These are going to be important numbers, so we want to be sure we get these right. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can still see them. What we're going to do here is way up at the top. Are those numbers too small to read now? Way at the top, we're going to insert the date, which is going to go way over in column H. Is it row 1? Yeah, H. In row 1, we're going to display the date. How do I display the date? I'm not going to type it. I want Excel to calculate it. How would I display the date? Remember that old equal sign? Equal. And let's just start typing. Date. Oh, look at that. Date shows up as a possible function. Let's double click on it. And it says, oh, I could type date, year, month.
One gives me a hashtag name with a weird looking.
I wonder if I just had empty parentheses, what would happen? Oh, it doesn't like that. Maybe I did the wrong thing here. Let's try. I want it to be today's date. Let's see, what did I do wrong here? Oh, do I actually type the date and then choose the format? I thought we were using the function. Oh, let me try that again. I'm going to Control Z, escape, and let's try that again. Is there an insert today's date? Let's try the insert. Insert. Is there a today's date hiding somewhere? So I'm missing some insert. Well, I guess I can go here. Insert. Actually, let's open my tabs. Here is where I can find other functions. And now let's look for date and time functions. And we're looking for, oh, it's not date, it's now. You'd think date would be today's date. Now is the current date. Now I remember. Now is the formula I want, not date. And there we go. So if I double click, I see I could have just typed equal now. Now is always going to be not only today's date, but actually today's date and the exact time right now when I refreshed my Excel table. So if I hit F9, I will see that changing when I get to 10:02. But we don't want to display the time. We just want to display the date in, I think, short date format. Let's go ahead and put that in a short date format by now going to custom after selecting it, and let's put it in date, and let's choose, I think we wanted, yeah, this with the dashes. We do want the dashes, so it's not the shortest possible, but it's year dash month dash day. Now I have my dates showing. Remember, the formula is still equals now, but the format of displaying it is in year dash month dash date. That actually is my favorite format of displaying dates. Now we're ready to do something not completely different, but a little more challenging here. We're going to be displaying, first of all, we're entering our projected revenue. That's something that we're just predicting, and I need to enter my revenues. And I skipped that part somewhere here. Where's the revenue? We have to enter revenue. That's something that we're putting in here. Here they are. Here's the revenues we're entering. We're projecting for the next 6 months. Some marketing person has given these numbers to us, so it's just for us to type in. No formulas here for the revenue. Everything else is going to be formulas. Projected revenue is 1,470,500 for revenue projected in January. In February, we're projecting 1,186,600, and I'm hitting tab to go to March. In March, I'm projecting. Uh-oh, did I get this wrong? Sorry, this is March's. I'm going to fix that. That was actually a type March. February's is 1,405,000. And then April's is 1,498,000. The commas help me make sure I get the right number of digits there. I don't have to type the commas. May is 1,102,900. And June projected revenue is 1,145,300. The rest of these are going to become formulas in making Excel do the work. I'll give you a little time to get those numbers in there, and then we're going to do our first formula having to do with referencing those numbers down in our assumptions table. You ready to go? Got the numbers in there? Now pay close attention here. This is going to be, we're first of all going to do just pointing and clicking numbers, and then we're going to adjust it. So, cost of goods sold, the formula is equal to our, let me get this right, our revenue times the quantity, left parenthesis, 1 minus the margin percent. And remember where margin is? That's way down here. I can come down here and click on margin. That would be B19. Okay, so revenue for January is January's revenue, B4, times 1 minus our assumption of our margins that we're going to forecast. Now this is where this very important symbol comes in. When I plan to copy this formula to the right, I still want it to refer to the number exactly in cell B19. But what we have seen is when we copy formulas, when I copy it to the right, what's the B going to change to? Normally, the B is going to want to change to a C, but I don't want it to change columns because this is down there in my assumptions table and it is not moving. I need to make this number not move as I copy my formula. This is where the sticky symbol comes in. It looks like a $sign, but think of it as a sticky S with goo dripping down over it. That makes the B not change when I copy my formula. But think of that sticky B. They call it absolute referencing. I do not move when I decide to copy my formula. This is not important unless we're going to copy a formula. If it's only a one-time formula, you don't need to worry about the stickies, the absolute referencing. But this time, I'm planning to copy this formula over, and I put the sticky there telling Excel, when you copy the formula, don't change what column I'm referring to in this part. Do I want to change the B4 to become a C4 in February? Yes, I do, because February has a different revenue. So I don't put any stickies on the B or the 4. And since I'm only copying it to the same row, the sticky on the 19 really doesn't matter. In the book, they do put a sticky on the 19, but it more matters that I put a sticky on the B because I'm going to be copying it to a new column, and I don't want to change the reference, the absolute reference to that cell. Does that make sense? I'm referring to that item down here, and when I copy it to February, I still want to refer to what's in column B. I'm not referring to a new margin for February. I'm always referring to my what-if assumptions that are there stuck in column B. All these numbers are in column B. So the sticky on the B for when I'm planning to copy my formula to the other months. Let's just verify right now if that really works. Click, fill handle over, and I get correct numbers. If I didn't have the sticky on the B, watch what happens. It'll say, okay, I'll move it. Oops, I accidentally clicked somewhere else. I take the sticky off the B just for experiment. Now hit enter. Now if I copy the formula over, because the B will change to a C and then D and then E and the F, referring to a place that has a 0 in it, I am getting the wrong number for my projected cost of goods sold because it's changing the C to a D. So back here, I want to put a sticky on the B and then fill handle to the right. Always, oops, always referring to the B, column B. If I click on this formula, guess what? It's still a B because it got the sticky to the left of it. I do not want to move that reference. That's called absolute referencing. So if you are asked on a upcoming quiz, you're given a reference to cell A3. The absolute reference to cell A3 would be $A, $3. There's dollar symbol. Okay, we'll stop here. We're going to come back to that. We have plenty of time. You guys are doing so great. We're a little ahead of the planned schedule, meaning we can spend really good time on this to make sure you just ace all your skills in Excel. In the future, this will be where if you remember your Excel skills in the future, this will be your most valuable thing to you when you have a good job out there. You'll be writing memos and maybe doing presentations, but everybody needs to know Excel, even to be your home family budget. And the cool thing is, if you know Excel, you know how to use Google Sheets. Any spreadsheets use about the same kind of approach to formulas and arranging numbers. So learning Excel, you're learning spreadsheet skills that will last you for a lifetime. All right, have a great day. See you at Chapel.
What do we save this as?
Oh, EX3. Last name EX3. Very good. I forgot to save it. I'm going to save mine. I just forgot. Let's spell that. Last name EX3. This is the third Excel project.
Mr. Manning, we won't be fighting.
Why?
Basketball.
Well, you better win. I'll record it for you. Oh, I just made it. I'm going to stop recording.